Hello, everybody at West Ham Network. Anton here. Thought I would bring you a little personal rant, really, and it is a rant. It is a rant because you're hearing the rumours that we kind of brought to you over the past couple of days regarding Alvarez heading out the door, potentially in a swap deal for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, as Italian giants are sniffing around, and people will be sniffing around our Mexican midfielder Alvarez, and rumours are saying that West Ham are potentially keen on looking at doing a deal. And I just think this is your typical same old West Ham. I need to watch what I say, and that's why I'll be really honest, but I don't think I can stay on long because it really would frustrate me as well. But when it comes to West Ham, I just think that West Ham, when we sign something or do something that comes across well, we don't never, ever utilise it. You know, we've got the prime example with all of the strikers we've signed all over our lifetime, especially under the current ownership, and how they don't tend to work out. And then we sign players with the calibre and mindset and ability, like Felipe Anderson. I'm just going to use that as an example. Who then comes to the club and we don't utilise him in the right way. Even Sebastian Haller comes to the club, don't utilise him in the right way. And now potentially it's going to be the Alvarez situation. We don't utilise them in the right way. And it can even go as far as saying, Kudus, we're not utilising them in the right way. Now, why at West Ham do we get these players and then decide that we're going to change up the whole dynamics of what they do? It's really frustrating. I physically cannot compute it, because honestly, I look around to other clubs in the Premier League, right, and I've always been one for not trying to compare West Ham to particularly teams like such as like the what do you call them, Brighton, for example. I've said it all along, like, we would rather be West Ham or Brighton, and obviously, you know, we always turn around and we say West Ham, etc. But the one thing I'll say about Brighton is that when they do get a player, you know, a creative player or a defensive-minded player or whatever, they play them to their best abilities, and they build the team around, you know, the quality that they've got. And for some reason, I think West Ham really struggled to do that, because there's this element, and I get there's this team vibe. You need that, of course you need that, but you need to get the best out of your best players, and I don't think West Ham do that. And when I watch Alvarez play for Mexico, and when I watched Alvarez previously play for Ajax, albeit with all due respect, Ajax, yes, I understand the league that they're in, and it's naive of us to turn around and say, oh, well, their league is crap, because they're not necessarily crap. There's been so many proven examples of players that have made the step into the Premier League and been proven to do well. But if you come in to the Premier League and you are a player that's been bought for that particular reason, why are we changing up the mindset? Is it Lopetegui that's telling Alvarez to drop in and sit in that back three all the time? Because when you watch him at Ajax, and I stress enough to you, if you watched him when he was at Ajax, stress enough to you when you watch him at Mexico, he does not sit back in that back three as much as he does for West Ham. And it changes the whole dynamics of what he is capable of doing, and therefore we don't get to see the real benefit of what he is capable of doing. That's why, you know, as fans, as pundits, as anyone that's calling out, you want to see him be the main geezer whose central defenses protects that back line, because you feel like suddenly we're making a bit of momentum with Todibo, Kilman, Emerson, and Wan-Bissaka and Areola. Finally, we're hopefully getting a defense that we really wanted and have wanted and craved for such a long time. And then suddenly something else isn't going right, and it's like the same old West Ham. And I don't know if it's coming from the top through to the bottom. Is there promises being made that don't actually are fulfilled? You know, I understand the club have to make money. I'm very aware of that. But I think someone like Alvarez, who last year we were praising through the roof, to this year is different, because he sits really, really deep and sometimes forms that kind of sweeper back five defense, three central defensive midfielders, and that really impacts our midfielder where we get overrun. What's he being told? What's the mindset in the club allowing this rumor to potentially transpire? is there an element of truth in the rumor? I believe there probably would be when it comes to someone like Alvarez, because I think clubs are looking at Alvarez and think there's a quality player there. And with all due respect to West Ham, if Alvarez played for Liverpool or played for Chelsea, no, I'm not Chelsea, but Man United or whatever, and I'm not talking about, forget those clubs, but I'm just trying to use it as an example. They would play him in that position and they would allow him to do the role that he does. That's exactly what pisses me off about this club. It's like the Kudus situation. Holy shit, how many more times do you need to see him be so transformational in a team when he plays through the middle? Why do we consistently decide to play him out on the left all the time? Why do we play the double pivot all the time? Why? Because I don't understand it, because it's like going back again to last year. Why did we play such a low block when we conceded a record amount of goals in the Premier League? Why? Why do you keep doing it? Because you're dripping out results here, there, and everywhere. Like I'm tapping out of that. Like I just want to give it a go, and I believed and I believe in the process, but I'm just frustrated because if we let fucking Alvarez leave this club, it's just the same old West Ham. It's just the same old West Ham that have given up on a project, given up on a player, possibly seen that we can make some profit and sell him too early. He's not ready to leave this club yet. You need to keep keeping players like Alvarez because he is a quality player. And I'm not disrespecting any of the other players there, but you get rid of Alvarez and what are we left with in the middle of the park? Really? That is what their vision is for moving forward. Souček and Rodriguez, if that's the vision, that's what they want to do. That's not going to work. It's not going to work because you're talking about a reputable Mexican international who's been sought after for many clubs around Europe, highly sought after for many clubs around Europe. Play him to his best position, play him to his best strength, and support him with players who can hold on to the ball. I am not a coach. I am not a head coach. I'm not a manager. I'm not trying to portray that. But sometimes I think when you just look at something really simple, 2 + 2 is 4. Fucking Alvarez and Souček does not work. Alvarez and Rodriguez does just not work. Put Alvarez in there. Give him Solar. Give him Paquetá. They'll fight for the ball, but they'll also be really creative at the same time, and they'll hold on to the ball in the middle field. And that will allow Alvarez to go do the job he's designed to do, because right now there's just too much mismatching. And I don't know. It takes me back to the owners, and it takes me back to negotiations. We all know if we don't do something this year, we can wave goodbye to Kudus. We probably know if Alvarez doesn't go in the winter, if we don't do something this year, Alvarez will be gone in the summer. And this is the problem we find ourselves in. We're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. I'm not trying to get carried away here. I'm basing this on the rumor that Alvarez would leave and we bring in Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek would be actually an okay signing, a good option for our midfield, but not the main geezer, not the main guy. The main guy is Alvarez. And that needs to be where we need to push moving forward. I started this video thinking I had a plan to try and put my point across to you well, and I think I've ranted, and that's the whole point of this video. It's off the cuff. I'm really annoyed at these rumors that are happening because this will get back to the player. And you know what? We never know what happens. The player could be pushing for a move himself. He might not necessarily be happy himself. But you're not crap. He's not a crap player. He's not crap overnight. He's not a crap player. We need to utilize him a lot better, and I think we need to see that moving forward. But unfortunately, I don't think that is going to happen. We've got Spurs. You look at the next 6 games, you know the way now that Lopetegui will set up in that midfield. And no matter when we think we shouldn't do the double pivot, he will do the double pivot. And I just don't see how that is going to benefit West Ham moving forward. And therefore, from that, we're probably naturally going to lose some of our best players. And Alvarez is a quality player. And do you know what? See if he goes, he'll go on and prove West Ham fans wrong, or prove some West Ham people wrong, prove some pundits wrong, prove West Ham, prove Lopetegui wrong, you name it, all that sort of stuff. But there's plenty of time. There's plenty of opportunities now to fulfill this opportunity for West Ham to progress as a club, West Ham to try and get points on the board, push ourselves up the table. It's not the end of the world. Of course it's not. West Ham are bigger than any player, but it's just same old West Ham. We've been proven so many times, sometimes when we get these players in, big, fees, that we just give up. We just give up. And why? Why have we got that mentality? I don't know. I need to go because I'm going to get angry. Take it easy. Come on, your irons.